snap. Here it comes. Pressure coming once again. Picked up. Gives it to Price. He's out of the lane. Picks up the first down. A block. Can he get across? And he does. A little spin-a-loony at the 2.
Down for the block to the back. It's going to erase a beautiful return from Moorhead, who's still on his feet. All this running is for naught because of the penalty that's going to bring this one back. And it's a shame because Moorhead just showed you what he do. He just pushed that out at the 4-yard line.
It is a night game at Academy. We got the roll-in portable light. So quarterback keeper Montoya. And he's in. Touchdown Husky. So hope immediately.
Back set. No one there. Catch it at their apex. It'll be Ashley in the middle. Who else is it gonna end? Kalen Ashley with force.
I had one of my cousins play football, and so they got me a football jersey, and so basically at that time, if you remember everything, everybody put
Snap gets it. Play
property
action
of
pass
Clovis, the
fires.
property of El Dorado.
Breaking one tackle free. Nice move. There's a block. And
He
this is
gave it
going to
to
go
me.
to the house.
I was in the
Touchdown
gym. I
time.
had a key. Jimmy Joe gave me a
Brown. Oh, had a man through his hands, intercepted. Huge play for the Huskies, room to run. Before he's pushed out of bounds, that's Matthew Wright.
Vargas back to the 40-yard line. As this one was tipped.
No.
It's a loose ball. No signal yet. Last time it was one play to get him at first and goal. Going deep again. Has a man. Touchdown, Cougars. Dropped it in the bucket to Jeremiah Gutierrez.
He's got Session and it's caught. Session, nothing but green grass. That's a touchdown to Cisco Heritage.
Second and 4. Wiley hands it off to Mitchell. Mitchell breaks the first tackle. He's got some room. Mitchell on his feet and he will score. Touchdown, D'Angelo Mitchell, and the Hawks are on the board first.
Huskies with the ball, first and 10. Montoya to the left. Montoya with the speed, turns the corner. And it's a touchdown.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Charlie Dotson, head football coach at El Dorado. And Charlie, thanks for coming on. A little technical difficulties, but we're going full speed right now.
I appreciate you having me on, Steve. I always appreciate what you guys do at ProView.
Well, I tell you, you started off with a bang in the first game, and you came across a Cibola team that was well prepared, and things just didn't go your way that night.
Yeah, us starting with Oregon Mountain, winning pretty convincingly 56-28, and then we had a bye week in week 2, and then had to play Cibola in week 3, and Cibola was a little bit battle tested. They had a really good game with Albuquerque High, which they lost, and then came back in the second half against Sandia. So they're playing good football when we got to them, and played good defense and shut our offense down a lot. And Coach Howe's doing a great job over there. And obviously, with a couple state championships under his belt, he knows what he's doing. So he's doing a great job at his alma mater.
Well, I got a little story, and I'm pretty honest about this. So I was watching the Albuquerque High and the Siebel game, and I was watching it on Comcast Channel 26, and Albuquerque High had the ball like at 2.5 minutes or so like that, and they came down through an interception. I turned the game off. I turned the game off, and I just assumed, that Siebel would win the game. They lost the game in like, on the last second or last.
Yeah, they had some bad breaks. Yeah.
Had some bad breaks, and so Aaron and I do a show on football, and so I'm like, I was going to, say congratulations, Coach House, and great win and everything. Luckily, I didn't do it, and so I'm like sitting doing the show, and Aaron comes up, and then they lose on a last second play or whatever, and I'm so happy that I didn't. It just shows you the game's not over until the game's over. Even if as much football as I watched in my life, I just thought the game was over and turned it over to 5:50, and I was watching the other game. So, but anyway, that's
I've done that before, to where I would watching a game, went to scout and team that we played next, and I text the coach and said, "Hey, congratulations! We'll trade film in the morning." He goes, "Coach, we lost." That's pretty embarrassing when you play in the next game.
Well, at least I don't feel like an idiot. I guess it happens to everybody. So, but
sure does.
I didn't make the mistake of texting Coach Al and say, "Hey, great win on your first deal." The next week I watched the whole game when they played Sandia, and then I had to watch the whole game. But I texted him right before the game was over and said, "Hey, great win and great victory." But I tell you, one thing about and this is we got great coaches all across the state and also in the metro area. I mean, you have to every time you go out to play, you got to have your best game plan intact, because the scouting and what all the coaches do, they break it down so well.
Yeah, it's crazy nowadays. There was a time, when I first started coaching 32 years ago, you'd be getting the videos from the bus station and all that. Now it's an email. So, there's so much technology that goes into things. I mean, you have something called Huddle Assist right now that basically breaks down your film for you. And, if you're not getting that done, you're probably behind the times a little bit. But yeah, it's crazy the way football is and how much needs to be put in. But yeah, our coaches in the Metro do a good job, and obviously out at Cleveland, they're doing an outstanding job.
Well, you got Los Lunas coming up this week, and speak on that, as much as you can, or divulge. But what I see of, Coach Hennington, great job, won a state championship there, and he's a Clovis. His dad's a Clovis legend, so I kind of, always follow what he's done in his career. So. But speak on what you have to do to win this game, and things that you're concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Hennington was a coach of mine for 2 or 3 years during the COVID years. He's my offensive coordinator, and had many great years down at Mayfield, and did a good job at Belen, and then came with me, and then won a state championship, I think, in his first year at Los Lunas. So he brings a different type of football mentality as far as physicality. He brings that from Mayfield, from coaching there and playing there for a number of years. We're gonna hit you in the mouth, and we're gonna run right over you, and that's their philosophy, and that's their philosophy in Los Lunas. They have tough kids down there. They have a good wrestling program, and but they take great pride in playing in their stadium and playing in the village of Los Lunas, and always respect that. And we had a pretty tight one with them last year. I think it was 0-0 at halftime, but got our hands full. Obviously I think we're ranked 14th on Max Preps, and they're ranked 8th. So they're the favorites going into this thing, and they have a quarterback that has experience, that can run and throw the ball. So it's going to be a tough game, and it's kind of a different game because we play at one district game right now, and then we go next week and play Volcano Vista. So you're always, obviously your most important games are your district games, but we had to get ready in our week 3 to get ready for these guys. But like I said, Coach Ellington and his staff, Coach Charlie is his defensive coordinator. He was also my defensive coordinator for a year. So both of them do a real good job and work great together. And, you know, they're going to end up, you know, being in the playoffs and probably winning some playoff games.
Well, truthfully, it's kind of a, you know, a motivation game for both coaches. I mean, him being on your staff, he wants to beat you, and you want to win there. So there's a little bit more motivation for the game that just besides district game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously with you know, our district, La Cueva's always going to be the favorite. You know, they've been in the state championship a number of years, and you know they've played a really tough schedule so far, played the Arizona team and played a good Volcano Vista team. So they're obviously the favorite, but, you know, I would put Los Lunas and probably Albuquerque High right below, you know, La Cueva as the favorites. And Los Lunas, you know, they played a good brand of football. They played Roswell, who won a state championship last year in week 1, Cleveland in week 2. I mean, if you stay healthy, you're going to get better just because of the speed of the game that they play. Then they went up to Farmington, which isn't easy to go up there and win and beat a Farmington team, and so they'll be well prepared, and the physicality is something I don't, you know, they're going to bring to the table on Friday night.
Well, you know, going back to La Cueva, you know, you talk about respect they have, you know, and I'm just looking at the Max Preps ratings. You know, they're 0-2, and they beat Volcano. I mean, Volcano Vista beat them, and they're rated number 3. So I mean that gives you a lot of respect. And if I'm Volcano, I feel like I'm getting a little cheated a little bit across the board there. So.
Sure. I mean, Volcano Vista. Max Preps usually, by the time the end of the season, they usually get it pretty close, and so, you know, it makes it a lot easier for the NMA to do seeds and to pick their selections for who's getting in the state playoffs, because there's so much that goes into that Max Preps ranking and all that. And right now we're 14, so we've got to climb up there.
Well, you know, that's a motivation for you. I mean, you're still in the playoffs. That's a good thing, right? They take 16 or they take 12 teams. I can't, you know.
They take 12 in football, 16 in your sport. 16 in basketball and baseball, so
you got your work cut out. You got to move up a few spots to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. You have to take care of your business and district. It's a fair process. I mean, you know, they take it the chosen by your placement in district. So if you can get it ahead of other teams in your district, then you have to go before them. So it's a fair it's a fair process, and you know, this is week 1 and the district opener for both of us. So, you know, there's always aspirations to, you know, our goal here at El Dorado is always to get into the playoffs and try to win playoff games. But, you know, it's nice to have that district champion patch on your letter jacket and stuff like that. So it does mean, you know, that you're an automatic qualifier for the state playoff games. So, you know, it's week 1. So there's excitement, I'm sure, there will be on Friday night. It's their homecoming, and so they have that to do, and we get to go down, and we haven't played down in there in a long time.
Well, one thing, you know, it's their homecoming, but you know, they bring a good crowd. I mean, they bring a lot of people to the game, and it's like Friday nights in Los Lunas.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
So there's got to be motivation for your players and you to, you know, when you're going in, you're going into a hostile environment.
Sure. And you know, we're home for week 1 against Oregon Mountain, and then we're on the road the next 4 weeks. So we play, you know, at Los Lunas, at Volcano Vista next week, back down in Community, and then we drive up to Santa Fe and play them. So we're have to be road warriors for a few weeks. So first test that we had last week, we didn't pass. So hopefully this week we'll play better.
Well, we're gonna go to the Everguard and roofing top 10 plays of the week, and then we'll come back and talk more about El Dorado football and how the rest of the year is going to pan out.
We would like to
Waiting to snap. Here it comes. Pressure coming once again. Picked up. Gives it to Price. He's got a lane. Picks up the first down. A block. Can he get across? And he does. A little spinneroonie at the 2.
Barons is on to punch another one away here. It's a high end over end. Moorhead will get a chance at 20. Flags out on a little block in the back. It's going to erase a beautiful return from Moorhead, who's still on his feet. All this running is for naught because the penalty is going to bring this one back. It's a shame because Moorhead just showed you what he can do as he gets pushed out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
It is a night game at Academy, but they got the roll-in portable light. So it's quarterback keeper to Montoya. And he's in. Touchdown Huskies. So Hope immediately.
Back set. No one there to catch it at their apex. It'll be Ashley in the middle. How else is it gonna end? Kaylin Ashley with first.
Shotgun. Snap. Gets it. Play action pass. Fires. Breaking one tackle free. Nice move. There's a block. And this is going to go to the house. Touchdown time for Aiden Erickson.
Brown. Oh, had a man through his hands, intercepted. Huge play for the Huskies, room to run. Before he's pushed out of bounds, that's Matthew Wright.
Vargas back to the 40-yard line. As this one was tipped.
No.
It's a loose ball. No signal yet. Last time it was one play to get him at first and goal. Going deep again. Has a man. Touchdown, Cougars. Dropped it in the bucket to Jeremiah Gutierrez.
Tigers looks to throw. He's got Session and it's caught. Session. Nothing but green grass. That's a touchdown at Trisco Heritage.
Second and 4. Wiley hands it off to Mitchell. Mitchell breaks the first tackle. He's got some room. Mitchell on his feet and he will score. Touchdown, D'Angelo Mitchell, and the Hawks are on the board first.
Huskies with the ball, first and 10. Montoya to the left. Montoya with the speed, turns the corner. And it's a touchdown.
Davis Show. We got Charlie Dotson, head football coach at El Dorado High School, and you know, we kind of talked about, you know, your upcoming game and everything, but let's talk about the state a little bit and talk about all the teams and see what your thoughts are on teams across the state.
Yeah, I mean,
Metro area.
you know, exciting time for football this weekend. The number 1 and number 2 team is playing, you know, with Cleveland playing Las Cruces. So that's kind of cool. That doesn't happen very often in non-district. So that's cool. I mean, you know, those 2 teams have kind of established themselves as a favorite. You know, you got a Volcano Vista team that beat La Cueva and a Centennial team that challenged, you know, Cleveland in week 1. So you have those 4, 5, 6 teams that kind of separated themselves from, you know, those of us that are a little bit down as far as enrollment and stuff like that. But yeah, it's exciting time, and you know, look for those teams to be really good again this year. Um, like I said, there's been some good games already, and then this weekend's game with Cleveland and Las Cruces should be a really good game.
Well, a lot of bragging rights, the
Yeah.
northern part of the state down to the southern star. There's a lot of pride in this game. Cleveland,
Yeah.
has always in the last 5 or 6 years have been, basically one or two most of those years.
Sure.
And they just doesn't matter who coaches them. It just seems like they just reload and they have built a great tradition right there. And then Las Cruces, that they're always, they're coming back. They've been down a little bit, and it's great to see them right at the top.
Yeah, they were in the semis last year, and Coach does a great job. And they, that I read an article on them in the Las Cruces Sun News or whatever it was, and they're focused on that state championship. So they have one goal. So it'll be an interesting game. It's just a regular season against Cleveland, but you gotta unseat the champions before we can start looking at anybody else.
Well, in Rio Rancho this year, they got 610. They're on the radio. I mean, they're getting some nice publicity. Sports Primo is going to be doing that game, so you can watch it on the NFHS channel, and it's a lot of great exposure for the state of New Mexico for these two teams.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, with what you guys do and they do and all that, a lot of people can, across the nation, not just in Mexico and in Albuquerque can see games. So it's a great thing. And it's the way football and sports has evolved, and how you guys have evolved with it is, those grandmas and grandpas that are in different states, or aunts and uncles, pretty cool that they can watch games on Friday nights.
Well, to even go one step further, maybe throw a little pub in for ProView. We're in all the states, 50 states across the deal, but we're in 138 countries. So it's pretty amazing.
Sure.
When we started out 18 years ago, that people, it's kind of fun. I have a little chart, and I get to see every year. It seems like another country pops up that
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great.
So it's funny that you bring that up, but. And then the other thing too, Charlie, I don't know if you realize, but the ProView now is, we've done over 14,000 games, archived and stored and everything for since we started. And I was sitting in and talking to you in the locker room. Everybody thought this would not happen. It's kind of neat to see it evolve and see it happen over those years.
That's way cool when you're able to pull those up for people if they want to purchase them or whatever. I would assume.
Yeah, they can go back and see them and everything.
Yeah.
So it's great. But
Yeah.
so back to some other teams. I mean, who's your dark horse? A team that because there's a team that's always seems to be underrated and just kind of just sneaks through the radars.
Well, we play Los Lunas this next week, so they're really good. And then the week after that, we play a Volcano Vista team that had won in week one against La Cueva. So that's a team that has high aspirations as always. And Rio Rancho, I think they went down to Las Cruces and challenged them in the first half, and then came up a little short. But again, those 5 or 6 teams, I think, all are in the mix of doing it, and the rest of us are chasing them, and ours starts with week 1, or week 3 at Los Lunas in district game number 1.
Well, it's fun for me. Again, what I've seen is there's been good crowds. Football's back. It seems like. I mean, you all had a good crowd, and it's fun to get out and support these guys.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a different type right now. We're looking at, for Friday nights, possible thunder and all that stuff. But when you go to a game in late August and September, you get some skies that are unbelievable. You get, the band that's all there before their competitions. And so, yeah, it's an exciting time. There's hope in the air for everybody. Everybody, even in the state of New Mexico, still have a chance to get into the playoffs and chase that blue trophy. So, yeah, it's a great time to watch high school football, and this time of year is always fun.
I tell you, Charlie, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, and good luck to you for the rest of the year, and let's get back on more often.
Sounds good. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you guys.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. We got special guests today, and we got Warren Hill.